What is going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over 5 different productivity tips to help you get more work done and stop procrastinating. So I don't want to waste your time. Let's get right into the video. Okay, I'm sure you noticed that I am like holding my mic today. Last time I filmed the video, I dropped this, and you can see, I don't know if it'll focus. I dropped this shock mount thing and completely snapped my mic off of it. So I guess I just put it down. You probably couldn't hear anything. I snapped the mic off of this mount, and so now I have to hold it because I can't use this arm anymore to hold the mic up to my face. So for now we're holding it. I gotta buy another shock mount. I don't know if it's gonna ship right now because of the virus thing. I don't know if any shipping's working, but whatever. Let's get into the main reason why you click this video, which is 5 main productivity tips. Before I get into that though, make sure you subscribe and drop a like on the video. I post personal health videos and videos about publishing every single Sunday. So if that kind of thing interests you, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you're getting notified when I drop new videos on Sundays at 10 a.m. PST. Let's get into the video. And my first thing I want to talk about is, why do people procrastinate in the first place and lack productivity to get their work done, like the motivation? And from my experience, is just because you're scared to start. Being scared to start and having too many distractions like your phone, TV, YouTube, all these different things is obviously going to be the main reason why people procrastinate and don't get their work done. And they're just scared to get started, and they're scared of the big thing that they got to get done. Like maybe it's an essay of some point of something, some kind of assignment you got to get done for school, or it's some kind of work done for your business, and it's a lot to think about and process before you get into it. I think just being scared and lacking the motivation to get those things done is what causes the procrastination and the lack of productivity in our day and age. And obviously social media being one of the main things. And also one of the main things is you don't love what you're doing. So before you can start anything and being super productive, make sure you love what you're doing. I know that's hard to do with school, but if you're in business and you're trying to get things done and you don't love what you're doing, then it's just going to always feel like a job and not something that you like doing. So definitely make sure that you love what you're doing. That's number one for me. If I didn't like publishing, for example, I wouldn't get things done at the rate that I do. So I like doing it. That's why I get so much done with it. So I want to get into 5 main things that I have applied to my life over the past year or so, and things that I apply every single day that just help me get more work done and be more productive and shorten the hours that I work in a day, but also get more done in those hours. So I don't want to waste more time. Let's get into number 1 in no particular order. But this is one of my favorite things, and it's something that I learned about a year ago from one of my mentors. I call it well, I don't call it. I think it's called this worldwide on the internet, whatever. And that is the 5-minute rule. This is definitely one of my favorite things that I've learned over the past year when it comes to being more productive and not procrastinating on my tasks. So basically how it works, I will start my workday off, get my warm-up tasks in, which is my next thing. But for the big thing that I got to do in a day, I know I'm going to dread doing it at the start before I get anything done. I just cut out 5 minutes of anything that I'm doing, and I just put 5 minutes of focused work into whatever the task may be. And at the start, 5 minutes doesn't seem like very much. So if you put that 5 minutes into this task, it's going to make things easier as you roll along. I find with myself, it could be 5-10 minutes for yourself, but for me, 5 minutes gets me going. And if I start working on this certain task for 5 minutes of solid focused work, it gets me into the mindset of, I just want to keep going and I want to get this work done now that I've started it. Might as well keep on continuing with it. So like, just put out 5 minutes and just see how it goes. If it doesn't work, try something else and then come back to it and try the 5-minute rule again with whatever it may be that you're trying to get done. I usually end up forgetting all the reasons why I didn't want to do it, and most of the times, like, just starting on a task is enough to get you going with something. So I think 5 minutes put into whatever it may be, maybe even too much time. Like, you start with 2 minutes and it might even get you rolling and getting you in the mindset of thinking that I want to get this task done. So I think putting that 5 minutes in and applying this rule to anything that is tough for you to get started is going to get you going and get you started, and gonna knock down your procrastination window quite a bit. So number 2 on this list is, I just mentioned it in the one before, doing warm-up tasks. I know a lot of people in the business world or just procrastination space that are talking about being more productive preach doing the hardest thing first. And for me personally, this is just not something that works for me. I like to do little tasks, like, for example, answering my email, answering my freelancers on the freelancer websites, checking my orders on Fiverr, or just checking little things to do with my business. For me, it could be if you're with school, like just checking little things to do with your schoolwork, and really gets me into the mindset of beginning my workday at a solid state. And this feels like I'm getting more things done because they're little short tasks. So the more little things I get done, I feel like I'm getting into a groove of things with my workday, and I can check little boxes off as I move along, compared to doing just one big thing at the start, like the hardest thing of the day, and taking an hour, hour and a half to get this thing done. It feels like I'm not being as productive. Even though I'm getting the hardest thing of my day done, it's only like I've done one thing. Instead of doing all these little tasks, I could get like 5 or 6 things done right at the beginning, knock these things out, and then move on to the big thing. And I think just doing this warm up, it increases my quality of work as well. Because if I start with the big thing right away, I'm still like sleeping. Like I start my work in the morning. So if I start this big thing right away, then I think the quality of the work isn't going to be as good as it could be if I had those warm up tasks done and I was in the mindset of working. So this pairs well with the 5-minute rule. Apply the 5-minute rule after you get these warm up tasks done to the big thing. But do the warm-up tasks first, get the ball rolling, and just get into the mindset of getting things done. So number 3 is kind of an obvious one that a lot of people talk about, but it is super crucial for me. So I had to put it in this list of 5 things to reduce procrastination. And that is scheduling time for breaks or snacks or just food breaks or whatever it may be, like a lunch break during your workday. And I know this isn't too hard if you're working like a day job, they give you an automatic lunch break. But a lot of people in the entrepreneurship space, or even if you're doing homework for hours on end on a Saturday or something, you got a big, or maybe a Sunday, that you have a big assignment due the next day, schedule a time for a break that's 20 to 30 minutes long at the minimum. For me, I usually take like hour and a half breaks just because I'll get a lot of work done before them. I like to schedule maybe 1 to 2 breaks throughout my workday just to give my brain a time to reset and not feel like I'm burning out, because I find for myself, if I work for more than 4 hours in a row, the quality of my work dives and I just don't do as much work as I could if I took a break and then reset my brain and started again later on in the day. Another thing that this helps with is chunking bigger tasks into smaller things. If you have, say, a big writing assignment done and you got to get 10 pages done, chunk it into smaller tasks. Do 5 pages at the start, take a half an hour break, and then after that break's over, do 5 more pages. Instead of having like this 10-page burden that you got to get around and just do all at once, take that break in the middle, and it's not only going to make you feel a little bit better and give you a little bit more time to do things, but it's going to reduce the strain on your brain and give you a little bit of time to reset and up the quality of your work. Because I think if you're working for, like I said before, if you're working for all this time straight forever, the quality is going to start falling down eventually. You can't be doing these kind of things for hours upon hours on end. You got to take little breaks and reward yourself for working hard. And one thing to keep in mind is, like, while you're not on your breaks, make sure you turn off all your distractions and just have full focus on your work. Because if you're working and you're checking your phone every once in a while and sporadically doing all these different things, checking your email, checking your Facebook, and not putting these things into different breaks throughout your day, it's going to take your mind out of the flow state, which I've mentioned before. But basically, when you're in the flow state, you're getting a lot more work done, you're losing a lot more of your brain, and the quality of your work is very high. So if you're checking your phone and these little sporadic check-ins on your Facebooks, your email, all your messages and stuff like that, you're going to get out of the flow state and the quality of your work is going to go way downhill. So maintaining focus kind of rolls into number 4, which I'm going to talk about now, and that is keeping your focuses singular and not multitasking during your day. I think this is super important for myself and other people too when it comes to not procrastinating and getting more things done. When you start multitasking, you start doing things here, you forget about what you're doing at the given time, and it ruins the quality of your work big time. And another thing with not multitasking is that it really helps me from getting like overwhelmed from having all these different things on my brain at once. Sometimes, like, when I'll see myself doing like 3 different things to 4 different things at once. And then, like, I'll do one thing here and then one thing here, and then it kind of just waters everything down and I don't do very well with it. And I think it's, apart from like checking my phone and checking Facebook messages, I think multitasking is like the second biggest thing for me as to why I start procrastinating and I just get overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I kind of sit back, and then slowly but surely all the work just kind of slows down and I stop doing it. So if I have like 4 or 5 different things that I'm doing at one point, it really ruins the quality of my work and the momentum that I have at getting things done. So if I ever find myself in one of these ruts where I have like 4 or 5 things that I'm doing at one moment, so like maybe I'm answering a Facebook message, I'm writing writing a book outline, I'm posting a book to KDP, and then I'm posting something on ACX. Like there's all these different things going on. I instantly stop myself and I just think to myself, what is the most important thing that I can be doing right now? That I'll do that, and before I start doing that, I'll write down the other things that I'm actually doing so I don't forget to do them in the future. So I make the little to-do list on top of my to-do list that I made at the start or the day before. I'll make a little list of things that I need to get done after I get this one big task done, because sometimes I'll find that if I'm multitasking and then I just choose to do one thing, which is a good thing, I'll end up forgetting what I was doing before. The other three things that were kind of watering down that one main thing. So I make sure I write them down so I get to them later on, but not do them at the same time, because that really ruins the quality of my work and just causes procrastination insanely for me. Keeps getting super bright in here. Like the sun comes behind the clouds. It's kind of cloudy today, so sorry if my face is really bright. But anyways, moving on to number 5, which is a really big one, and not many people talk about this. I've heard a few people talk about it, like Alex Becker. But that's basically don't eat too big of a breakfast, or just don't eat anything before you start working. And I know this is tough for some people because they're so used to eating, but for me, if I know I have a really big task at hand during the day, or I have something I got to do a lot of stuff, I'll just make sure that I don't eat in the morning and I just drink my coffee. I find that if I eat before I do a big assignment or big thing to do with my business, I have a big task that I got to get done, I find that it really slows me down, especially if I'm eating a bunch of carbs in the morning. It slows me down, makes me feel tired, and I get lazy, and my quality of work and the amount of work I want to get done really slows down, which inevitably leads to procrastinating and getting a lot less work done. Especially eating like a sugary cereal or something in the morning. Like unhealthy food is just going to ruin the productivity of your day and cause brain fog, so you're not as clear, you're not as focused on what you're doing or whatever task you have at hand. Brain fog is going to ruin the lack of quality in your work, and inevitably it's going to end up in getting less stuff done, and the productivity that you wanted to have at the start of the day just goes downhill, because you ate this huge meal and it's like sitting in your stomach and it's making you feel lazy and not want to get a lot done. So most of the time I just won't even eat, and I'll get all my work done, and I find that I work a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently when I'm not full. A little bit hungry, but I'm not so hungry that I'm focused on it. But as soon as I start to get hungry, I'll go eat. But I want to get that big task done on an empty stomach, because I don't feel lazy then, I don't feel tired, and the quality of my work stays consistent. So those are the main 5 things for me in my mind. There's tons of other things. I'm going to mention here a couple of bonus tips after this. But those are the main 5 things that I've applied over the past year when it comes to being productive and taking down my procrastination window before I start working or when I'm doing my work. But a couple of bonus tips that I have here are always think about why you're doing what you're doing. I think that's a big reason as to why people do procrastinate, because they just don't have a reason to be doing whatever they're doing. Something that I always ask myself before I start working is, will my future self thank me for what I'm doing right now? So for example, if I'm being super lazy, is my future self going to be happy with me when I got to do this task that I'm supposed to be doing at the given moment later on in the day when I could just be chilling out and not doing work? Another thing for me is listening to music or brown noise. I will link the brown noise video that I always listen to when I really need hyper-focused windows where I'm doing a lot of work. Brown noise, or just listening to music without vocals, because I think music with lyrics or vocals kind of distracts you. These kind of things really nail down my focus and help me get a lot more work done during my work days. So those are the bonus tips. If you like this video, make sure you drop a like down below. Leave a comment if you have any more procrastination tips and productivity tips that you use in your daily life. I'd love to hear them. If you have them, drop them down below. Let me know what you're thinking of the video. If you're not too tired of me yet, make sure you check out my Instagram page. I post a lot more personalized content, behind the scenes stuff there. It's right here on the screen, so check it out if you're interested in that, if you're not tired of me already. I know this is getting to be a bit of a longer video, but I'm kind of passionate about these procrastination things and productivity tips, so I like making videos about this kind of stuff. But anyways, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next week. See you later.